I'm Doron Dreksler with Spire Architecture, and we have a unique situation where I have the original study model that I used to develop this project that we're standing in. This is a residential project in the foothills. It's actually in Auburn, California. This is, like I said, the original study model that sort of locks all the concepts and ideas that were developed to create this house. I'll go over some of the concepts and ideas, and then we'll talk about why it's unique and why this is special. All of my projects sort of have a few themes that were developed early in my career in the 90s. And those are the way the site and the building is related to context and site conditions. On this project, I created what's called an exotropic wall, which is actually behind me, that cuts completely through the building. It's 210 feet long. It stretches from setback to setback on the site, and that became the first move that the building works around. I then created a second axis to create a public-private, a private, and a utility segment to the project. And the whole building pendulums around those organizing principles. The other thing that my work tends to embrace is the topography. For whatever reason, most of my projects either hover, sit on, or are depressed into the site, into the topography. Part of that is to never negate the way you reference the topography. The other thing is it allows the building to sort of occupy the site, not only based on view and the organizing principles, but also the lay of the land. The sort of second, or I guess it would be the third organizing principle would be, what are the views? What are the views you want to see? What do you not want to see? What do you want to buffer? And those types of things. On this project, we have homes all the way around us. And the idea was once you came through the front door, which is behind the camera, you leave the existing neighborhood as far as the reference to the buildings, looking around, between, over all the buildings that surround this house. And that way you're never confronted with views or privacy issues or noise or any other issues that the neighboring properties could affect or have effect on the building. This project, done 17 years ago, I designed it approximately 20 years ago. Took a couple of years to build. There's a few things that stand out for not only the architecture, but all the components that allow you to do a building like this. One of them, you have to have an incredible client. They have to be willing and able to sort of trust you to create something that's not only meaningful to them, but meets their budget, schedule, and lifestyle goals. This project is unique. Not only were we able to sort of iterate through multiple concepts, but we were sort of allowed to soar and run with concepts that aren't really traditional. This building's laid out and sort of splays itself out across the site to capture views and to sort of match the lifestyle of the occupants. And that stands out because you're allowed to test ideas, present ideas, and then it was more of a conversation rather than constant level or constant solutions. It was more about possibility, and that's very unique. To be able to test ideas, concepts, and possibilities, and then iterate those things in a physical model, and then present to a client that could make meaningful decisions based on those conceptual ideas. And then of course you have, budgetary and schedule, and you have to build the building. So that's a whole other process. And architecturally, as an architect, from the original concept of this project all the way through the construction of this project, you're the sort of keeper of the design intent. So in this instance, you had a client that was fully trusting and understood the importance of going from sort of the concept all the way to the day we handed keys to them and they got to enjoy their building.